Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh asked China to take positive steps to resolve the Doklam standoff, but despite its forces intruding in Ladakh on Independence Day, Beijing continues to maintain the standoff is New Delhi's fault. Lieutenant Colonel Lt Prasad granted conditional bail by the Supreme Court. Purohit was the first army officer to be arrested on charges of terrorism in the 2008 Malegaon blast case. Rival AIADMK factions finally announce a merger in Chennai. Former Chief Minister O. Pannirselvam takes oath as Deputy Chief Minister, also given additional charge of finance. And search and rescue operation launched for 10 US soldiers reported missing after USS John S. McCain warship collides with a Singaporean oil tanker in Malaysian waters. 5 soldiers reported to be injured. Well, India has expressed hope that China will cooperate on the Doklam standoff and a solution may be found soon. The statement came from Home Minister Rajnath Singh while addressing a piping ceremony of the ITBP. However, not giving any signal of a thaw between the two countries, China has kept the pitch high, suggesting that India should withdraw from Doklam first. Meanwhile, President Ramnath Kovind visited Ladakh to boost the morale of the soldiers, and Army General Bipin Rawat took stock of the situation in the forward areas of Ladakh.
Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh addressing a piping ceremony of the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, the force that is keeping a vigil on the India-China border. He said India is hoping for an early resolution of the Doklam standoff if China takes positive steps. Union Minister Rajnath Singh's statement has come at a time when Army Chief Bipin Rawat is touring the border in Ladakh after non-lethal confrontation between Indian and Chinese army a week ago. As coming in of such confrontations, the Home Minister cautioned China that the Indian army was ready to guard Indian territories. But unimpressed with India's call for peace, China maintained India is at fault, even when Chinese forces intruded the Indian territory on the 15th of August near Pangong Lake. China still insists it is their territory. In a regular foreign ministry briefing, the Chinese spokesperson said that India had endangered peace in the region.
印方此举违反了双方就维护边境地区和平安宁达成的有关共识，危及中印边境的西段的局势。中方对此表示强烈的不满，并且已经通过涉边的渠道向印方提出了严正的交涉。
Incidentally, President Ramnath Kovind, who is also the Supreme Commander of Indian Armed Forces, was in Ladakh on Monday morning. Though his visit was mainly to greet the Ladakh Scouts Regiment, his presence in the region is being seen as a signal to China that New Delhi is watching developments closely. The president greeted army men, received salute at a parade, and presented the president's colours to the regiment and its 5 battalions. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, after Japan, Bangladesh said that there should be no use of force on the Doklam border. High Commissioner of Bangladesh in India, Syed Mauzem Ali, said that the standoff should be eased through talks. In an exclusive interaction with our correspondent Akhilesh Suman, the Bangladesh High Commissioner hoped a solution can be found out this month through talks.
On Doklam, India and China are under standoff for last 2 months. So do you think that there can be any solution between the two countries?
Well, there can be always a peaceful solution to any problem, because we believe peaceful settlement of dispute and non-use of force in the resolution of international problems. This is our constitutional commitment, and we still stand by this. We are happy that both India and China are not averse to peaceful settlement of this problem, and we are hopeful by the end of the month this problem will be resolved.
Both armies are standing eyeball to eyeball, and then Sushma Swaraj had given a statement proposal that both armies should back, and then we should talk. So how do you think about this proposal?
Well, this is not the first time that eyeball to eyeball thing has happened, but I'm a diplomat, and I believe that peaceful resolution is always possible.
Well, moving on now, the Supreme Court on Monday granted bail to Lt Col Shrikant Prasad Purohit, one of the key accused in the 2008 Malegaon blast case. Purohit was in jail for the last 9 years. He moved the top court after his bail plea was rejected by the Bombay High Court earlier this year.
Lieutenant Colonel Shrikant Prasad Purohit, the first army officer to be arrested on charges of terrorism in the 2008 Malegaon blast case, was granted bail by the Supreme Court on Monday. A two-judge bench of the top court set aside the Bombay High Court order rejecting Purohit's bail. However, the apex court imposed certain conditions on the Lieutenant Colonel while granting him bail. During the hearing, Lieutenant Colonel Purohit claimed he had been caught in a political crossfire. His counsel Harish Salve also argued Purohit had been languishing in jail for 9 years without even charges being framed against him. Though Purohit accepted that he had attended meetings of Abhinav Bharat, the right-wing organization whose members were accused of conspiring in the Malegaon blast, he said he had acted as an army officer and passed on information to his seniors about the group's activities. Based on the hearings, the Supreme Court had reserved its decision on an interim bail plea filed by Purohit last week.
9 वर्षों की एक लंबी लड़ाई के बाद उन्हें बेल मिली है, तो कोर्ट ने उसको जांच पड़ताल करके सारे बयान चेक करके बेल दी है, और इसलिए उनका अधिकार था बेल मांगने का, और कोर्ट ने इसको स्वीकार किया है. अगर वो निर्दोष है ये साबित होता है आगे में, तो बड़ा दुर्भाग्य होगा कि उन्हें 9 साल तक उनकी जिंदगी की जेल में बेकसूर व्यक्ति को काटने पड़े.
The first investigating agency has said that there is a strong evidence, whereas the other investigating agency has said that there are certain discrepancies in the first investigation. I think the Honorable Supreme Court must have been impressed by such type of discrepancies, and therefore the bail has been granted. But one thing is certain, that he will require to face the trial, and I hope in the coming days, in all the sensitivity of the trial court must endeavour to frame the charge immediately.
While the BJP welcomed the Supreme Court verdict, opposition parties said they were surprised.
We had seen the kind of perception that the Congress government, that is the previous dispensation, had tried to create in India. They had coined these terms, saffron terrorism and Hindu terrorism. And today we can see as to how the Congress party tried to do all this because of appeasement politics.
Grant of bail is not a reflection of either the guilt or no guilt of the person concerned, since the person is facing trial. We sincerely hope that law will take its own course and justice would be done free from fear or favor in the present matter.
ये लग रहा है कि एनआईए खुद अब स्पष्टीकरण देनी होगी कि क्या बात है कि जिनके ऊपर आपने केस दर्ज करवा के अरेस्ट करवाया, आज ऐसी कैसी बात आ गई कि उन्हीं को जो है आप जमानत पे छुट्टी कर रहे हो.
7 people were killed in a bomb blast on the 29th of September 2008 at Malegaon in Nasik district of Maharashtra. The 4,000-page charge sheet alleged that Malegaon was selected as the target because of a sizable Muslim population in the town. The charge sheet also named Sadhvi Pragya Thakur, Lieutenant Colonel Purohit and Swami Dayanand Pandey as the key conspirators. The probe was later handed over to the NIA in 2011, which gave a clean chit to Pragya Thakur last year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news, now O. Selvam has been sworn in as the Deputy Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, with E. Palaniswamy continuing to be the Chief Minister of the state. The move came after E. Palaniswamy and O. Selvam announced the merger of their two AIADMK factions after months of hard negotiations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also congratulated O. Selvam and others for the new beginning.
In what is being seen as a political turnaround in Tamil Nadu, former CM O. Paneerselvam on Monday took oath as the Deputy Chief Minister under the merged AIADMK government in the state. OPS has also been given the additional charge of the Finance Ministry. E. Palaniswamy will continue to be the Chief Minister of the state. The oath-taking came soon after the two rival AIADMK factions led by Palaniswamy and Paneerselvam announced their merger at the party headquarters in Chennai.
We are happy, we are delighted. Actually, in fact, we are delighted.
The two factions came together after a bitter split about 6 months ago. The striking part of the merger is that EPS has taken a backseat in the party, declaring OPS as the convener. EPS will be the co-convener. EPS also announced that there will be a 11-people committee to coordinate in the merger.
பொன்மனச்சம்மல் புரட்சித் தலைவர் எம்ஜிஆர் இதே புரட்சித் தலைவி அம்மா இருவரும் தலைவர்களை தெய்வமாக வணங்குகின்ற அத்தனை தொண்டர்கள் நிர்வாகிகள் சார்பாக அவருடைய எண்ணங்களை நிறைவேற்றுகின்ற விதமாக அத்தனை உள்ளங்களும் இணைய வேண்டும். ஒன்றுபட்ட அனைத்து இந்திய அண்ணா திராவிட முன்னேற்றக் கழகம் தமிழகத்திலே தலைத்து நிற்க வேண்டும். அந்த இருவரும் தலைவர்களும்
However, the merger talks did not mention about the formal expulsion of VKShashikala or her family members, a key demand made by the OPS camp.
We are so happy that OPS faction and EPS faction has been merged. Even we want that. But one thing we are very sad, I don't know why they want to avoid us. Because from the day one, Honorable General Secretary Chinnamma and Deputy Secretary Mr. T.T. Vidyanagaran, we want everybody to be together once again.
I personally feel that there is a power struggle still on. And Mr. Dinakaran is not helping the merger also. Because they are also afraid that if they merge, and one of the conditions of the merger is that, Shashikala has to be ousted, then Dinakaran may use these 17 MLAs or maybe some more MLAs to topple the government. So the situation is not easy, and I don't think we have received a stage where all the issues have been sorted out.
Both leaders also paid tribute to former CM J. Jayalalitha at her Marina Beach memorial. The death of AIADMK chief and then Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha on December 5th last year plunged the party into a state of bitter turmoil. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, there was fresh trouble for AIADMK interim chief VKShashikala as CCTV footage surfaced suggesting special treatment for her in Bengaluru Central Prison. The footage shows Shashikala in civilian clothes and carrying a bag walking through the main entry area of the prison along with her sister-in-law. The video shows her flanked by guards, which led to speculation as to whether she left the prison premises altogether. The video, however, does not indicate when it was recorded or which part of the jail it is from. The footage was submitted by ex-DIG Prisons D. Rupa on August 19th as part of a statement to the Anti-Corruption Bureau in support of her allegations that Shashikala was being given preferential treatment in the prison. Shashikala is currently serving her 4-year sentence after being convicted in the disproportionate assets case. Well, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today received a grand reception at a program hosted by Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao. Doing away with the protocol restrictions, the Vice President got off the dais to mingle with a number of dignitaries. Naidu was also keen that both Telugu states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh should work collaboratively to achieve new heights. Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao felicitating M. Venkaiah Naidu on becoming the Vice President at the Raj Bhavan in Hyderabad on Monday. Thanking the Chief Minister for the reception, the Vice President recalled his special relationship with Hyderabad and Telangana. He said Chief Ministers of both Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, once part of United Andhra Pradesh, should work hard to remove their differences and ensure prosperity in their respective states.
తెలుగు ప్రజలు రెండు రాష్ట్రాలుగా విడిపోయినప్పటికీ కూడా ప్రపంచం దృష్టిలో మనందరం తెలుగువారమే. అందుకని తెలుగువారమైనందుకు గర్వించాల్సిన అవసరం ఎంతో ఉంది. తెలుగువారమందరం కూడా కలిసిమెలిసి జీవించాల్సిన అవసరం ఎంతో ఉంది. తెలుగు రాష్ట్రాల ముఖ్యమంత్రులు కూడా ఇచ్చిపుచ్చుకునే ధోరణిలో సమస్యలను అర్థం చేసుకుని ఉభయ కుశలోపరిగా ఇద్దరికీ ప్రయోజనం కలిగించే విధంగా నడుచుకొని తమ రాష్ట్రాలను ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్లాలని చెప్పని నేను ఇప్పుడు రాజకీయాల్లో లేను కాబట్టి అభిలాషను మాత్రమే వ్యక్తం చేయగలను.
Venkaiah Naidu also spoke about his new role as the Vice President.
Rajya Sabha should be functional. Lok Sabha also should be functional. Assemblies also should be functional. Councils also should be functional. ప్రజల చేత ఎన్నుకోబడిన ప్రజా ప్రతినిధులు ప్రజా సభలు అర్థవంతంగా పనిచేసి మంచిగా చర్చలు జరిపి ఒక అవగాహనకు వచ్చి తద్వారా మంచి చట్టాలు చేసుకొని తద్వారా అభివృద్ధిని వేగంగా ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్తే అది దేశాన్ని మరింత శక్తివంతం చేస్తుంది.
While Governor Narasimhan called Naidu's election as Vice President a proud moment for all Telugus, Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao praised his simplicity while recalling a decades-old friendship with him.
Sir, it's been a great honor, as I told you, to have you as our Vice President. I am not going to here eulogize your services to the nation or to the country because everybody knows about it in the various capacities, from a student leader to a party man, to a party general secretary, to a minister, and to a president of the party, to various functions that you have, and in every one of them you have excelled yourself.
భావజాల సంబంధమైనటువంటి పార్టీలో చేరి అద్భుతమైనటువంటి పదవులు వారు అధిరోహించినారు. మనమందరం కూడా చూశాం, సంతోషించాం. వారు 2 పర్యాయాలు శాసనసభ్యులుగా, 4 పర్యాయాలు పార్లమెంట్ సభ్యులుగా, కేంద్రంలో మంచి పోర్ట్ఫోలియోలు, చాలా గౌరవప్రదం, ప్రజలకు సేవ చేయగలిగేటువంటి అద్భుతమైనటువంటి పోర్ట్ఫోలియోలో అటు వాజ్పేయి గారి ప్రభుత్వంలో కావచ్చు, ఇటు మోదీ గారి ప్రభుత్వంలో కావచ్చు, అద్భుతమైనటువంటి కేంద్ర మంత్రిగా, అదేవిధంగా వీటన్నిటిని మించి జాతీయ స్థాయిలో భారతీయ జనతా పార్టీ అధ్యక్షులుగా ఆ రోజే మనకు చాలా గౌరవం పెరిగింది.
The felicitation program for Naidu was attended by, among others, Union Minister Bandaru Dattatreya and other prominent politicians and film personalities of the state. Vishal Dahiya's report for Rajya Sabha Television. High Court issued notices to the Election Commission and Congress leader Ahmed Patel on a petition challenging the Election Commission's decision to invalidate the votes of 2 Congress MLAs in the recently concluded Rajya Sabha polls. BJP leader Balwant Singh Rajput, who lost the bitterly fought contest to Ahmed Patel, filed the petition. Rajput claimed that once the returning officer used his discretion to accept the 2 votes as valid, the EC had no power to issue any direction to the returning officer for accepting or rejecting any vote. Terming the EC's order as patently illegal, Rajput urged that the order be set aside. Notices were also issued to Amit Shah and Smriti Irani. Well, the agony of the home buyers is far from over. With the possibility of real estate companies going bankrupt, thousands of home buyers are on the streets to protest, fearing they will lose their lifetime savings if their developer goes into liquidation. Let's take a look in this report.
Shikha booked a 3-bedroom flat with the Amrapali Group in 2009. After selling off her gold for the down payment, 8 years later, she's still waiting for possession of her house. On Monday, for the 10th day in a row, Shikha sat on dharna outside the builder's office in Noida, Sector 62. But no one is in any position to tell her when she will get the house.
छोटी छोटी जरूरतों को छोड़कर उनके मन को मारकर हमने यहाँ पैसा दिया था. मेरे जेवर तक गिरवी रखे हुए, मैं गोल्ड लोन ले रखा है. आप ये बताइए, चाहे किसी का 1 BH का फ्लैट है, चाहे किसी का 5 कमरों का फ्लैट है, सबकी मेहनत की कमाई लगी है. यहाँ ऐसे बैठे भूखे प्यासे, कोई पूछने नहीं आ रहे.
Aslam's situation is no different. He booked a flat in JP's Wishtown project when his daughter was a year old. She's now 8 and the family still lives in a rented flat. And instead of modern furnished homes, buyers visiting the JP Wishtown get to see hefty guards, barricades and unfinished concrete pillars.
अब फैमिली को कहाँ शिफ्ट करें? हम लोगों ने किस हिसाब से पेमेंट यहाँ किया हुआ है, ये लोग क्या समझ पाएंगे? और आज हम लोगों को कहते हैं कि ना कुछ बता पा रहे हैं कि घर मिलेगा हमें या पेमेंट मिलेगी, सिर्फ फॉर्म भर दो, फॉर्म भर दो. क्या यही बचा है जीवन में? क्या फॉर्म ही भरना बचा है क्या हम लोगों का?
More than 60,000 flat owners in various projects of Amrapali Group and JP are in distress. The banks have approached the National Company Law Tribunal to start proceedings for insolvency. Amrapali has liabilities of around 3,000 crore and owes over 10,000 crore to about 10 banks. The group needs 3,000 crore to complete its ongoing project, while JP has a total debt of around 8,000 crore rupees.
हम गवर्नमेंट से चाहते हैं कि वो आए और वो प्रोजेक्ट्स को लें और
गवर्नमेंट की कोई अथॉरिटी हो, एनबीसीसी इस टाइप की कोई अथॉरिटी हो जिसके थ्रू वो घर बनवाएं, जिससे कि एटलीस्ट ये भरोसा हो बायर्स को कि वो घर उनको मिलेगा.
More worrying is the fact that as more banks initiate insolvency proceedings against real estate companies, the number of aggrieved buyers will swell further. Sold to thousands as the future of urban housing, dozens of societies in Noida and Greater Noida lie unfinished. Noida today resembles an abandoned town with shattered dreams of home buyers.
If these bankrupt real estate companies go for liquidation, then the biggest question is, will there be interested parties? And even in case of liquidation, the interest of home buyers would come after the claims of banks that have extended loans to these companies are settled. Even in that case, would the flat buyers get any reprieve? Reporting from Noida, with camera person Chetan Sharma, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, here's a roundup of the other news from across the country and nationwide. All 43 Congress leaders from Gujarat who remained united to elect senior leader Ahmed Patel to the Rajya Sabha recently met Congress Chief Sonia Gandhi and Party Vice President Rahul Gandhi on Monday in Delhi. Sonia Gandhi asked the legislators to remain united and continue their fight for truth and ideology in the state. The meeting was held to strategize for the upcoming assembly elections in Gujarat. Police and security forces on Monday conducted raids in several parts of Darjeeling Hills to track those involved in the grenade blast at Kalimpong police station on Saturday night. The raids were also conducted in areas considered to be the stronghold of the Gorkha Janmukti Morcha. The situation in Darjeeling remained tense as the indefinite shutdown demanding a separate state of Gorkha land entered its 68th day. Mizoram Minister of State for Fisheries Buddhadhan Chakma has submitted his resignation from the Council of Ministers to Chief Minister Lal Tanwawla. The resignation is yet to be accepted. The minister resigned in protest, stating that 4 Chakma students who qualified for MBBS seat under the state quota were denied admission in medical colleges in the country. He added that his position might create uneasiness to maintain the glory of democracy in Mizoram. Police and security personnel carried out extensive searches of trains after an early morning hoax call about explosives planted in a trail bound for Delhi. The call was received by the police control room, after which all arriving trains were checked. Well, moving on to some international news now. Rescue operations were launched by Singapore authorities in search for 10 US soldiers who went missing after their ship collided with an oil tanker near the Straits of Malacca on its way to Singapore. The accident took place in the early hours of Monday.
10 US soldiers are reported to be missing after their warship collided with an oil tanker east of Singapore in the early hours of Monday. According to the US Navy, the guided missile destroyer USS John S. McCain collided with the merchant vessel Alnic in Malaysian waters as it headed for a routine stop in Singapore. Singapore, Malaysia and the United States were all involved in the search and rescue operation. 5 soldiers are also reported to be injured. Following the collision, United States President Donald Trump and Arizona Senator John McCain took to Twitter to show solidarity with the sailors. The destroyer is named after John McCain's father and grandfather, who were both admirals in the US Navy. The US Navy in its statement also ordered an investigation into the incident. This is the second collision involving a US warship in as many months after 7 sailors died in June when a warship collided with a Philippine-flagged cargo ship in a busy channel in Japan. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Spanish police on Monday confirmed the identity of the driver suspected of killing 13 people in last week's attack in Barcelona. Catalan Interior Minister confirmed that Moroccan-born Younes Abu Yaqub is the main suspect in the terrorist attack. New CCTV footage from the day of the attack also appears to show the accused fleeing the scene on foot. Meanwhile, police carried out more raids overnight at homes in the town of Ripoll, where many of the suspects in the attack lived. Well, here's a roundup of the other international news and global buzz. The United States and South Korea started their annual military exercise that involves computer simulations designed to prepare for war with nuclear-capable North Korea. The US described the drill as defensive in nature. According to reports, about 17,500 US service members will join in the exercise in addition to troops from Australia, Canada, Colombia, Denmark, New Zealand, the Netherlands and Britain. Iraqi security forces launched an offensive to take back the city of Tal Afar. Federal police managed to go deep in several areas west of the Tal Afar and killed 20 Islamic State militants and destroyed their vehicles and motorbikes. Tal Afar, which was a long-time stronghold of hardline Sunni Muslim insurgents, experienced of sectarian violence between Sunnis and Shiite Muslims after the US-led invasion of Iraq in 2003. China will launch the world's fastest train in September, which will shorten travel time between Beijing and Shanghai by more than an hour. Several pairs of trains will be launched that will make 14 return trips a day over 1,318 kilometers that separates the two cities. The train will run about 50 kilometers faster than the previous versions that run at about 300 kilometers per hour. Well, moving on now, let's bring you up to date with some sports news in Sports Beat. Kidambi Srikanth beat Russia's Sergei Siranth 21-13, 21-12 in the first round of the 2017 World Badminton Championships at Glasgow, Scotland. Srikanth led both sets of the game. Srikanth will face either France's Lucas Corvée or Chinese Taipei's Lin Yu Chen in the second round of the tournament. Sakshi Malik and Bajrang Punia will represent India at the World Wrestling Championships in Paris. Sakshi will be on the mat in the 58 kilogram category, while Vinesh Phogat will compete in the women's 48 kilograms. In the men's division, Bajrang will compete in the 65 kilograms weight category. Besides Bajrang, Sandeep Tomar also competes in the 57 kilograms category. Seventh-seeded Grigor Dimitrov beat Nick Kyrgios 6-3, 7-5 in the final of the Cincinnati Open. This was Dimitrov's seventh career victory and first in a Masters 1000 series event. Kyrgios could not reproduce the brilliance he displayed in beating Rafael Nadal in the quarterfinals. Dimitrov pounced on a break chance in the 11th game and then served out for victory. And before we leave, let's listen in to London's iconic Big Ben bells bongs for the last time on Monday before it was silenced for 4 years for major repair works expected to last until 2021. I'm going to leave you with these visuals.